Hey, what is up guys? So we are going to be doing a deck profile for the Grand Soil Box of Friends Gemini Hero Dragon Ruler deck. I know the name is ridiculous, but I thought it was hilarious. You can call it the box of everything if you want. Now there's different ways to actually play Box of Friends. I'm playing the Gemini build. I'm doing a lot more testing on this. If you guys have any suggestions for this deck or different techs that we can try out, let me know in the comment section below and we'll test them out. But currently I really do like this build. I've been doing a lot more play testing with it and I've gotten the consistency to where I personally think is pretty good, but we can definitely make it better. I think that there might be some other tech choices. Now there is the Millennium Shield Labyrinth Wall build. I don't like that one simply because I don't like drawing the cards because you can't normal summon them. And there are times where, if you want, you can definitely throw in Shockmaster in here, but there are times where I just want to normal summon one of these guys and then just make a quick rank 4 XYZ card, because this card is pretty good, and same thing with Daigusto Emerald, especially because you'll be playing normal monsters anyways. But anyways, I will be uploading this on Dropbox, so if you want to actually just download the Yu-Gi-Oh file and then you can import it into your DevPro game, it's a lot easier than typing out all the names. I know that takes like 5 minutes, and it's time consuming. 5 minutes you can get like 1 or 2 duels in. So if you guys don't know how to install decks, don't worry, there's also a link to show you guys how to install the deck. But anyways, let's finally get started with the deck profile. I'll go through it really quick. I'll mouse over everything. You should be able to read the name. If you can't, just click on the HD button and you should be able to read the name. And then I'll go into my explanations of why I'm playing certain cards and the simple little combos that you can do in this deck. So like I said, we'll just mouse over them real briefly and then I'll go over the explanations and other combos you can actually pull off in this deck. But if you guys have any suggestions for improvement, like I said, I'm still doing more testing on this deck. I think that we can make this deck a little bit better because, Box of Friends, it's a cute card, but it actually, I think it's got some potential. I mean, come on, La Dolces were a pretty cute card, and, well, the whole archetype's pretty cute, but it's actually pretty decent. I mean, hey, it topped, right? But anyways, this bottom area is not the actual side deck. This would be an awful side deck. It's just cards that I was playtesting with earlier, and if you want to maybe try them out yourself, you can definitely do so. I mean, I love Rabbit plus Tour Guide, but I just couldn't fit the room, especially with the spam of Grand Soil that I love. I just don't have the room for it. Plus, there's a lot of good normal summons you already have in this deck. Or sets, technically, with Box of Friends. But these are some cards you can try out yourself if you'd like to try it out. So anyways, let's get started with the explanation. So first off, we play one Neos here because he's a target with Air Neos. So you just go Prisma, you ditch a, basically, so you just send an E here to the graveyard. I do wish I had room to fit 3 Miracle Fusions in, but sometimes it can be dead. But basically once you have successfully activated 1 Miracle Fusion, as long as the monster doesn't get bottomless, you pretty much have access to just keep on Miracle Fusioning over and over, because once the monster that you Miracle Fusion goes out on the field, once he dies and goes to the graveyard, you still have that 1 E hero, plus you receive any other Earth, or, depending on the attribute, like a Wind or a Light. And, you also have your XYZs there to, make different things. I guess you can technically fit in a Ab-Zero if you really wanted to squeeze it in, but I realistically don't think it's that necessary. But generally, you're going to be making Gaia the first time, and the off chance that you need to bring something else out. Shiny is a great target because this is also Light plus. These are Light, and Effect Feather is also a Light card. But Neos is here because it works really well with Princess Cologne, because when Princess Cologne gets XYZ summoned, you get to target a Box of Friends if you wish. Actually, is that a mandatory effect? It's an optional effect. You can bring out a Box of Friends, and if you want to, you can also activate her effect to detach, and you can special summon 1 normal monster from your deck or graveyard in face of defense position. That's pretty awesome. You can special summon it from the deck. You can straight up just be like, oh, that's cool, let me just get a Neos out, which is really awesome. But it is special summon in face-up defense position, so unfortunately Neos won't be able to attack that turn. But it's not like there's really any downside because it doesn't die during the end phase or something like that, where something like Box of Friends, the monsters do die at the end phase. But when I'm going to go for a play to bring back a normal monster, I usually go for Emerald, unless I have some other play that I know that my opponent perhaps will just destroy my Box of Friends. What's awesome with Box of Friends, keep in mind, it doesn't have to be destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, and you can Dark Hole yourself if you know that you can perhaps go for a huge push right now. You summon this card, hey, Dark Hole, maybe you go for Miracle Fusion, go for multiple Grand Soils. You do, you put in some work sometimes depending on the cards you have in your hand. This deck definitely can compete with some of the high tier decks, like, you can compete with Fire Fist, any of the decks to kind of throw out like 1 to 2 monsters per turn. This deck can swarm really easy, as you guys can see from the 2 videos previously that I did upload. This deck has a really good ability to swarm, so perhaps against, like, if you're playing against E-Dragons or Spellbooks, you will have the chance to OTK depending on how fast they play. Maybe if they don't open up too good, you could potentially OTK them in 1 to 3 turns. I feel like this deck, it can't really OTK like turn 1. It has the option to pretty much go for game within, I'd say within 3 to 5 turns you should be able to, you know, pull off a pretty good play in this deck. But playing 3 and 3 of these guys, pretty standard for like any rabbit, just run like 3 targets of each. Although Sapphire does only have defense, he's not a card that you'll normal summon too often, but if you already have a monster on board, you can definitely do so. And then Garnet is there with 1900 attack. I love it how he's a Pyro, but he's actually Earth, so it works much better in this deck. And I like how he's Sapphire. I thought he would be something like Water, but then I technically thought, oh no, these are gemstones. They'd be like, you know, they're found in the Earth. Although I still technically think he should have been Fire. I mean, look at him. He should be a fire fist. He actually has his fist on fire. But anyways, they're just simple targets for you know, Box of Friends or the Rescue Rabbit, which is pretty awesome. Next up, 3 Grand Soul, pretty self-explanatory. There's so many Earths in this deck, and you have so much great control with the Elemental Dragon Redox. You can simply just, you know, manipulate the graveyard, whatever you need to do. Another card that I was actually thinking about running, but it's a little bit too slow, is actually Return from the Different Dimension. It's a trap card. Any of you guys didn't know what this card is. A little bit older card. It's one of those win harder cards, but you know, it is definitely a great card, especially since you're going to be banishing with Miracle, you're going to be banishing with Redox, and on top of that, there's also that treasure, or Sacred Sword of 7 Stars, which you can use. This guy is also a target with that if you need to, you know, absolutely have a terrible hand, and you have Neos, you can use that. But yeah, this card's not bad at all if you want to definitely run it. It's awesome. But yeah, 3 Grand Soil is pretty nasty. I mean, if you get the effect of 1 Grand Soil off and you already have like a decent field, you usually can, you know, OTK. The thing with Grand Soil, which is awesome, is you can actually drop multiple Grand Soils. When I was playing with Glacia, because this is the only Elemental Dragon, or actually, he's not a dragon, he's the only Elemental Lord that I actually was playing, and his effect is, you know, you can only use the effect of Moon Glacia Elemental Lord once per turn, and I thought they all had that effect, because, you know, they all share similar effects, but Elemental Lord Grand Soil, he just doesn't care. You drop 3 in 1 turn. I think that's ridiculous that you can just keep on dropping them. He's pretty awesome in that aspect. Like I said, with the ability to control so well the graveyard, it's pretty awesome. But next up, playing 1 Gorge, just because there's no traps, unless, well, like, hand traps, but yeah, pretty much there's no traps. So Gorge is pretty awesome. Plus he's a level 7, so it works pretty well with Sacred Sword. And plus you can go for a lot of rank 7s in this deck, which is what I've noticed, which is pretty awesome because you have the ability to basically go for a rank 4, and Daguerreotype Emerald is rank 4, and also Princess Cologne, and they both allow you to get another monster on board, and then Redox always comes out. So you always have the option to basically go for a rank 4 and then a rank 7, which is really awesome in this deck. And on top of that, if you're rank 4 like Princess Cologne or something like Daguerreotype Emerald, if it survives, it is pretty awesome because then you get to just recycle and just, you know, put more pressure on the board, which is awesome. And especially when you go for Princess Cologne, if you go back and get a Box of Friends, if Box of Friends dies by a card effect or by battle, you get another 2 monsters, which is really awesome. I love that. Unfortunately, Neos is not a target with Box of Friends. There's actually no elemental heroes that are targets with Box of Friends, which makes me a little bit sad because I really was like, oh man, I'm going to make E-Heroes so good right now. But unfortunately, there is no target for Box of Friends. But next up, just playing 1 Stratos, 2 Prisma. And Prisma does let you send this to the graveyard when you reveal the Air Neos. And people might be thinking you'll be playing that Hummingbird OTK, so it's got that surprise factor also. But next I played 2 Rabbits, simply just because, you know, it works pretty well when you play normal monsters. And then 3 Maxi, it's just an Earth plus, you know, it's a good card. And then 3 Box of Friends and 3 Effect Failure. Should be self-explanatory on those. Then I'm playing heavy Dark Hole Reborn. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I need to mention that is out of the ordinary. Pot of Hours is a fantastic card in addition to the deck. You can go through this deck really fast. That's what I've noticed. Especially if you can like throw just even 1 Grand Soul, then Pot of Avarice, and if you can draw into another you know, card that you can explode with, like a Rescue Rabbit, or just anything that can really let you explode. Like this card lets you explode too. Gold Star technically can open up a lot of doors for plays because, you know, Redox is pretty awesome. You go Redox, react into another Redox, and if you happen to have a any XYZ like this guy or this girl over here, you can go ahead and get a Neos and then just overlay those, and then you have a Redox engraved. There's just so many great setups in this deck, and I think this deck definitely does have some potential depending on how good we make it. But as far as any suggestions on this deck, I would say probably don't banish your Neos too early on. That is one mistake that I've noticed with Miracle Fusion. If you're going to banish Neos, make sure you can go for game or maybe if you're in a position where you have to make Shining or you have to make something, I guess you can technically banish it. But keep him in the grave. He is very abusable with these cards over here, and also Redux can technically just get back any monster in the grave, and you can keep on special summoning. I would say if you're going to banish him, try to just get him out first and then make a rank 7 XYZ, and then after you detach, maybe with the effect of this guy over here or Big Eye, you can definitely then just banish him, and pretty much at that point you can push for, majority of the time you'll be able to push for game. But I will be doing more tests with this deck. Like I said, the only 2 duels that I had that were really good are already uploaded. Currently, I'm doing pretty well with this deck. It has been doing pretty successful, I would say. It OTKs a lot. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, and the other duels weren't as interesting as the other ones, and that other game I almost timed out, which was pretty lucky of me that he activated that limiter, which was hilarious. But like I said, if you guys want to download the deck, make it a lot easier on yourself so you don't have to type out everything, you can visit the description box and I'll show you how to actually do it. But like I said, if you guys have any suggestions for this deck, I think we can make this deck a little bit better, and we can have some fun with this deck that is currently not really meta at the moment. Plus it gets out Neos. Any deck that gets Neos automatically gets extra like special points, because this card has so many great fusions, but they're all ridiculously hard to pull off. But maybe we can actually pull off some build that actually involves using the Elemental Hero Neos plus all those cards. You can throw in Polymerization. We'll make something happen with this deck. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Asian Eyes signing out.